what message would you want to give to them?
I would say just enjoy the journey. Don't worry about all the different pieces.
Hello, and welcome to the Arts of Language podcast with Andrew Pudewa, founder of the Institute for Excellence in Writing, or as many like to say, IEW. My name is Julie Walker, and I'm honored to serve Andrew and IEW as the Director of Marketing. Our goal is to equip teachers and teaching parents with methods and materials which will aid them in training their students to become confident and competent communicators and thinkers. Well, today is another one of those days where Andrew's out traveling. So I looked up and down the hall to see who I could talk to today, and I found Jessica Walker. Hi, Jessica. So you're probably not surprised by this too much. Jessica, a relation of mine through marriage. She married my youngest son, Michael. So Jessica, tell me what you do here at IEW.
I am the customer service manager. So I manage a team of about 10 or so here in the office, as well as a remote team of 911ers who help answer more specific questions, and a couple of juniors who also help us with daily tasks as well.
Great. So I know that IEW over the years has had a reputation for having exceptional customer service. Why do you think that's true?
I think we just have a very cheerful staff that we choose. We're very selective in who we choose for our team. They undergo a pretty intensive training process to make sure that they are exceptional and they know how to answer all your questions.
Right. So all of the questions that come in to you and your team, how do they get through to you?
We serve customers through phones, chats, and our info email.
Info at email. So if you have any questions for Jessica and her team, you email them at info, I-N-F-O, at IEW.com. And generally, how long does it take to get an answer back when you email us?
We aim for no longer than 2 days. And we are in our very busy season, so probably 1 to 2 days, I would say.
1 to 2 days. So that's pretty
average.
Good. And what would you say would be a typical question that you get from your customers who call you or chat you or email you?
We get questions, anything from where to get started with IEW, especially with families with mixed ages and mixed grades, to how to get downloads that come with any materials you purchased, all the way up to implementation. How do I use what I bought? Things like that.
Right. So
a wide range.
So you're serving homeschoolers and schools in your customer service department. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, we serve homeschool parents, co-op teachers, tutors, as well as 5-day-a-week schools. Great.
And so what if there's a really hard question that you can't answer? What do you do next?
We have our team of 911ers, and they are veteran homeschool moms and tutors who have used IEW for years. So they are usually our first go-to if it's a specific question. And then we also have other members on our team that have different experience that can help us figure out the answer.
Right. I know that there's been times that I've had to jump in and help out with some tough questions that you might have had with some either product implementation or what happens if they want to return something. Talk about our return policy that we have here at IEW.
We have a 100% lifetime guarantee on anything that's purchased from us. So if you ever get something that doesn't work for your student or you just find it's not a good fit, you can return it to us for a full refund.
And
it's forever.
Forever. Yeah, that's crazy. So when people call and ask about this, do you get really grumpy and say, do you really need to return it? Or how do you handle that?
We do not. We say not a problem, and we help them figure out how to return everything that they need to return.
That's great. That's good. So I have a story to tell, a little story to tell. This is before you started working for us here at IEW. I was with Andrew and our video crew, and we came to your classroom because, Jessica, you were a classroom teacher for a couple of years before you started working here for IEW. Do you remember that? It wasn't that long ago that we came into your classroom, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, because once you graduated from college, which you graduated from college and married my son and moved to Oklahoma and lots of changes all at once, and then started teaching for a school in the Tulsa area. And your first class of first graders, we said, hey, can we come and have Andrew teach your students how to write? And I remember standing up in front of the class and introducing myself to the kids because I was Andrew's helper, passing out papers and that kind of thing. And I said, and my name is Mrs. Walker. And the class was just wide-eyed and enamored with the fact that there was another Mrs. Walker. And I had to explain to them that, no, that you were not my daughter, that you are my son's wife. That made you my daughter-in-law, which was so happy to have you that. And that video is just so precious of Andrew teaching your class. And we have that available on our website, and we'll put a link to that in our show notes. It's Andrew teaching the Aesop's fable, The Fox and the Grapes, which is really cute. And I think a lot of our teachers would really appreciate seeing how Andrew actually teaches a group of pretty feisty and busy first graders that you had all those years ago.
Yeah, it was definitely fun watching him do that.
Yes. And then after just a few short years of teaching, you decided to come and work for us, and we're just so grateful, so glad to have you here. So when did you first learn of IEW? When did you first hear about what it is we do here?
So I actually go back to IEW back when there was a dark blue, tiny, probably 35-page binder with no DVDs for the student, just teacher DVDs. And I actually took a co-op class. I believe I was in 4th grade or so, and did that for many, many years. So basically graduated from IEW, and we used it all the way through high school.
Great, great. So you were homeschooled then?
I was, all the way through.
Great. So hypothetically speaking, let's say you were in a room with a microphone and we were recording a podcast and you had the opportunity to speak to teachers and teaching parents. What message would you want to give to them?
I would say just enjoy the journey. Don't worry about all the different pieces. We often get lots of questions from moms, especially, that are concerned about making it all fit or trying to do everything. And so I would say don't forget about the fact that you're working with students, whether you're in a classroom or at home with your kids, and just make it fun. So reading out loud a lot, doing the daily things that are fun, not worrying about whether you're going to hit math every year or whatever subject every year. It'll all work out.
It will all work out. I do remember when you were teaching, you'd come over to my house and use our printer because you and my son did not have a printer at your home, and you would have all of your papers spread out all over the living room, and it was just so fun to watch you. But you also had many, many books that you would check out from the library each week that you would read aloud to your first grade, and then kindergarten when you taught kindergarten for that last year and a half or so. So did you enjoy those kindergarten years?
I did, for the most part.
Yes. So if you had a product that you had the opportunity to give it away, what would you like to give away to, let's say, 5 lucky winners who are listening to this podcast and enter our drawing?
So I chose the Primary Arts of Language, which is our primary K through 2nd grade program, just because that's an age that's near and dear to my heart, with the reading and the writing package. So you get both.
Great, great. So do check out the link in our show notes. You'll find all kinds of things in our show notes, including the video of Andrew teaching Mrs. Walker's class and a link to Jessica's bio page so you can see what she looks like and a little bit about her, and then also a link to the drawing of how you can enter to win one of 5 Primary Arts of Language reading and writing packets that was written by Jill Pike based on the work of Mrs. Anna Ingham. So, well, thank you, Jessica, for joining us here today. And maybe I should say thank you for saying yes to my son all those years ago. We're so glad to have you.
You're welcome. It was fun.
Thanks so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, you can subscribe to this podcast in iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, or just visit us each week at iew.com/podcasts. Until then, on behalf of Andrew Pudewa and the team at IEW, I thank you for the privilege of allowing us to partner with you on your journey toward better listening, speaking, reading, writing, and thinking.